Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Dream Zenith and Liquid Huck here on Lost Temple. Dream Zenith spawning at the 12 o'clock location as the blue Terran player. Meanwhile, we have Liquid Huck spawning as the red Protoss. So Protoss versus Terran here on Lost Temple. Someone recently told me that that Clan Zenith and Clan Nex recently combined, and that's why some of the players do have the Dream or have the Z Nex tag. I'll have to confirm that with Argo Zenith. Or Argo Zenith. Haven't talked with him in a little bit, so hopefully once he confirms that, I will let you guys know what's happening in terms of the Korean clan war system for SC2. Excuse me. Anyways, Liquid Huck spawning as the red Protoss player here, getting the standard getting the standard pylon. Meanwhile, Dream Zenith setting up a supply depot over here, a little bit out of position, as it will force the supply depot to be lowered in order to not block the mining from this one particular extractor over here. The command center currently just training up more SCVs, gonna go ahead and build up a barracks as we now see an early scout moving out from Dream. So Dream doing some early scouting, scouting out with an SCV before even setting down his barracks. This is a little bit atypical for a Terran player, but I believe he just wants to get as much information as possible in order to make sure that Liquid Huck is not trying to go for anything particularly fancy. We now see a probe moving out, and interestingly enough, Huck moving out with this probe, activating this Zelnaga Watchtower, may be able to gain sight. Is he going to be able to gain sight? Yes, gain sight on this one SCV over here. And now, based upon the timing, thinks that Dream spawned over here in this location. So that is a very, very interesting. Dream, in fact, did not spawn over here. Huck now moving into this position, realizing what exactly happened. Now will be coming back here. We do see a Marine now being trained, and that Marine should be able to pop out and then deny any sight for this probe. So that probe will not be able to walk up that ramp, as we now see a cybernetics core coming online, or being currently warped in. So that Marine now making its way over. Now here on Lost Temple, you got to be very careful whenever it is going to be ally spawn like this, just because of the close flying distance between these two locations. It looks as though Dream Zenith, being very, very aware of the fact that Void Rays would be able to deal a lot of damage very quickly, does not want to go for an early tech lab. Instead, very smartly goes for an early reactor instead in order to double train, and now currently sitting at 17 or 18 over 19. Getting that earlier reactor first also allows him to continually produce more and more SCVs without getting supply locked, as that reactor does take 50 units of time to build. SCV now wandering around on the inside here. We do see a Stalker currently being chrono boosted, and no additional production buildings coming out from Huck so far. We could be seeing a Stargate, we could be seeing a robotics facility, not quite sure yet, as this one probe makes its way over here, perhaps waiting for an additional 5 more minerals, and now the probe just waiting there, and now it is going to be a Stargate. So Huck now going for that Stargate, also getting a tech lab as well. So the tech lab should be researching either combat shields or stim pack. You want stim pack in order to get underneath those void rays, as void rays have a range of 6 compared to a Marine's range of 5. If the void ray is smart, it will be able to constantly dance out of combat range. However, Dream Zenith now going for concussive shells. So concussive shells, he is going for mass Marines, but getting concussive shells first, just in case there is any early stalker pushes coming up this ramp, as we now have a Marauder currently being trained as well. Back over here, 1 Stalker, 1 Zealot, Stargate nearing completion, and based upon the energy on Liquid Huck's Nexus, he will be able to get off 1 chrono boost, and now going for a Phoenix first. So interestingly enough, going for a Phoenix instead of going for a Void Ray will be able to get a lot of site information as soon as he sees the 2 racks, 1 with a reactor and 1 with the tech lab. He made this. I'm not exactly sure what he will go for. And normally, a Protoss player likes to go Colossi against a mass infantry here, and mass infantry would be what Dream Zenith can build so far. I'm also surprised that we don't see a command center being placed down just quite yet, as these Marines and SCVs are on the move to push out. We do see also a couple of Marines down over here. So this is going to be attack. A Phoenix now able to gain sight, sees that the army is on the move, perhaps going to try to warp in some additional units. Now, yeah, warping in a sentry, realizing that these units are going to be walking up that ramp in just a moment there. Marines and SCVs now making their way over. Very, very smart for a probe to try to, I guess, exchange Zelnaga Watchtowers and activate this one over here. Marines and Marauders now coming in. Will this be effective is the key question here. Sentries are now trying to get in position. There are currently 2 Phoenixes. So those Phoenixes and Stalkers now trying to deal damage. And now we should be getting a force field as those Marines try to walk up that ramp. No, not even going to even bother trying to walk up that ramp there. As those Stalkers and those Sentries only have a range of 6. No, Sentries only have a range of 5. So Marauders do not want to try to deal anything here. And now we have a lot of Sentries. Based upon these Sentries here, we have a fair amount of energy. Should be able to get off another force field here. And then, oh wait, there we go, another force field. So we still have time for 1 or 2 additional force fields as more Phoenixes are still being built. So we currently have an army or a fleet of about 3 Phoenixes, or I guess a fighting group of 3 Phoenixes. Could start graviton beaming Marines as the front door still currently locked in position. 1 SCV currently sitting on that high ground, however, now going to get stuck there. Marauders unable to fight back. No sight onto that high ground as those Stalkers are able to now deal damage. And those SCVs using that mineral pathing in order to be able to walk up that ramp. So you can see here that there is, I believe, 1 SCV trying to make its way, now able to walk through that force field that will be fixed in patch 1.2, so that the SCV would not be able to gain sight. So mineral pathing through a force field, and in comes another force field, but that force field is not in the correct position. Are we going to be able to get enough units in time? Marines now trying to walk in. No Guardian Shield, not enough energy as these units now continue to fight. Marauders quickly getting picked up, so it's just going to be an army of mass Marines, and nicely done by Liquid Huck. Liquid Huck picking up all of those Marauders. Those Marauders were the main source of damage and the main hit points of that army, and now those Phoenixes are on the move once again. Marines trying to return all the way home, but this command center will not be able to pay off. A bunker needs to be placed down on this high ground to hold it off. There is already a proxy pylon being warped in. Zealots most likely will be warping along this side in just a moment, and now off of 4 gateways he will be able to train up a lot of units. And now Phoenix is coming around that backside trying to deal more damage. Marines now trying to push in over here. However, if those Marines walk away from that front door, Sentries and Stalkers will simply be able to walk up this ramp, and that is not going to be a good sign at all. In comes a force field, so this 1 orbital command will quickly get shot down there. SCVs are going to be unable to mineral path through that. Stalkers trying to deal more damage. Phoenix is coming back over here. Are they going to start graviton beaming more SCVs? It looks like it will. No, instead going after that orbital command, dealing as much damage as possible, and now backing off. There is a couple Sentries over here on the low ground. Those Sentries do have enough for a Guardian Shield. And now in come those Marines. Marines able to get off a couple rounds of attack of those Gauss Rifles. And as those Stalkers are now warping in, things are not looking good for Dream whatsoever. He's currently running off of 4 racks, 2 reactors, 1 tech lab most likely, and now Phoenix is picking off many of these SCVs. Marines need to come over to support. However, as soon as those Marines come over to support, that front door will be very, very much exposed as those Phoenixes now try to back off. Nothing over here. So Huck just content to try to contain his opponent, as those Phoenixes are just going to be able to get off more and more kills relatively easily. You can see those Phoenixes going after those mules now, getting so much damage dealt. 1 orbital command now in the air, taking a fair amount of damage. Those Phoenixes backing off, and now it's going to be very difficult to try to get any force fields down. The Marines, and are we going to get a force field on that back to make sure that those units do not pull back out? There we go, brilliantly done by Liquid Huck. Getting a force field there, making it impossible for those Marines to get back up onto that high ground, and then graviton beaming Marauders. So just very, very clean, very crisp play by Liquid Huck here on Lost Temple. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Dream Zenith and Liquid Huck here on Lost Temple. I would have hated to see how strong these Phoenixes were if they only had a 35-second build time, but we will be able to see that after the playtest realm patch releases. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.